Good night, John boy. 4 words, and suddenly you're 10 years old again, the TV glowing in the corner of the room. The boy who said goodnight to America every Thursday night for 5 straight years. The kid who started on Broadway at 7 years old just stepped onto a national stage in 2025 at age 74, channeling one of the greatest American legends who ever lived. He's our number 1, and when you hear what he's doing right now, your jaw is going to hit the floor. But first, before we count down 12 cast members of the Waltons, then versus now in 2026, tell me honestly, who were you sitting next to on that sofa when the theme song played? Was it Mom? Grandpa? Your big sister? Drop a comment below. I read every single one. All right, let's go back to Walton's Mountain. We begin with the father. Ralph Waite was John Walton Sr., the backbone, the quiet center of that family. But here's what most people never knew about him. Before he ever touched a script, Ralph Waite graduated from Yale Divinity School and was an ordained Presbyterian minister. He worked as a religious editor at the publisher Harper and Row. He did not start acting until he was 32 years old. The man who became one of the greatest television fathers in American history was a real-life man of faith who found his calling late and changed everything. Before the Waltons, he'd already stood alongside Paul Newman in Cool Hand Luke and Jack Nicholson in 5 Easy Pieces. On the show, he didn't just star, he directed 16 episodes, and TV Guide ranked his John Walton Sr. number 3 on their all-time list of the 50 greatest TV dads. Not top 50, number 3. After the Waltons ended, a whole new generation discovered him when he joined NCIS in 2008 as Jackson Gibbs, the father of Leroy Jethro Gibbs. Once again, he was America's father. His final chapter. Ralph Waite was born June 22, 1928 in White Plains, New York. He left us on February 13, 2014 at 85. When the NCIS Season 11 finale aired, it carried a dedication that simply read, "To the memory of our friend, minister, director, father to millions." We start here because no one walks onto Walton's Mountain without passing through his front door first. Her name is Michael. Not a stage name, not a nickname. Michael. Her father once told her, "If I had been a boy, I would have been called Caleb, but I was a girl, so I was called Michael." He never explained why. And that woman with that unexpected name went on to win the Emmy for Outstanding Lead Actress in a Drama Series 4 times. 3 for the Waltons in 1973, 74, and 76, and a 4th for the CBS medical drama Nurse in 1982. Only one other actress in history has matched that record, Tyne Daly. She almost never got the part. Michael was performing in a Noel Coward production of Private Lives at the American Conservatory Theater in San Francisco when producer Lee Rich walked in, watched her, and knew. That is Olivia Walton. She was 32, and she has said that at the time of her casting in 1971, she was at the lowest point in her life. The Waltons didn't just give her a role, it gave her a second beginning. Now, Michael Learned was born April 9, 1939. She is 87 years old, and she is not sitting in a rocking chair reminiscing. In recent years, she continues to perform on stage at venues including the Rubicon Theater in California. 87 and still commanding a live audience, still making people believe every single word she says, just like she did as Olivia Walton more than 50 years ago. Some people retire. Michael Learned just keeps showing up. Quick, close your eyes and think of Christopher Robin, that little English boy walking through the 100-acre wood with Winnie the Pooh. You just heard John Walmsley's voice in your head, Before he ever set foot on Walton's mountain, a 12-year-old kid from Blackburn, Lancashire, that's in England, had already given Disney one of its most beloved characters. The voice of Christopher Robin in Winnie the Pooh and the Blustery Day, the 1968 short that won the Academy Award. He was 12. Most of us were still figuring out long division. Then the Waltons happened, and for 9 seasons, Jason Walton became the music-loving middle son, the kid with a guitar who dreamed bigger than the mountain could hold. Here's the thing, that wasn't acting. John Walmsley plays piano, guitar, banjo, harmonica, flute, and cello. The talent on screen was 100% real. He and Eric Scott are the only 2 actors who appeared in every single episode of The Waltons, all 221 episodes of the series. Now, after the show ended, John didn't chase Hollywood, he chased music. He became a professional guitarist and toured with Richard Marx in the late 1980s. He's played alongside the Doobie Brothers, Michael McDonald, Roger Daltrey, and members of the Beach Boys. And here's the part that feels like it came straight out of a Walton script. John Walmsley is 70 years old, and he lives in Cornwall, England, back in the country where he was born. He runs a band called the UK Beat, performing 60s British rock. The boy who left England at 2 years old to become an American TV icon eventually went home. But before he left Hollywood, life on Walton's mountain followed him off-screen. He married Lisa Harrison, the actress who played his girlfriend, Toni Hazelton, on the show. Jason and Tony's love story walked right off the set and into real life. If you thought Mary Ellen Walton was tough on the show, wait until you hear what the real woman did when the cameras stopped rolling. In 1986, Judy Norton set 2 world records in skydiving. She jumped out of planes, competitively, and won. Legendary sportscaster Howard Cosell once called her one of the best female celebrity athletes he'd ever seen on Battle of the Network stars. This is the same woman who played the eldest Walton daughter for 9 seasons, appeared in every reunion movie, and still found time to learn competitive horse jumping, skiing, tennis, and flying trapeze. Now, Judy Norton is 68 years old, and she never stopped creating. She spent 8 years as co-artistic director of 2 theaters in Canada, Celebrations in Winnipeg and Jubilations in Edmonton, writing and directing more than 40 shows. She's acted in Stargate SG-1. She's written and directed feature films. She wrote a 2-character stage show called Moments Remembered that she performed with Don Most from Happy Days. Mary Ellen Walton grew up to become a writer, a director, a singer, an athlete, and a one-woman creative force. 68 and still going full speed, the tomboy from the mountain never did learn how to slow down.
All right, I have to stop here for a second. Seeing Mary Ellen and Jason again after all these years, it does something to you, doesn't it? Be honest now, how many of you secretly had a little crush on one of the Walton kids? Maybe it was Mary Ellen's fierce independence. Maybe it was Jason and that guitar. Don't be shy. Confess in the comments. I promise you're not the only one. Now here's a story Hollywood almost never tells. The story of a child star who walked away, built something real with his own hands, and never looked back. Eric Scott, born Eric Scott McGatt, played Ben Walton, the clever, enterprising third son. He was cast in The Homecoming, A Christmas Story in 1971 at 12 years old because his red hair, freckles, and bright face made casting directors believe he genuinely looked like he belonged in the same family as Richard Thomas and the rest of the kids. And he did. For 9 seasons, Ben Walton was the kid with the business mind, always looking for a way to earn an extra dollar. And that wasn't acting either. Now, Eric Scott is 67 years old. After the reunion movies wrapped in the 90s, he stepped away from Hollywood entirely. He didn't wait for the phone to ring. Instead, he started at the bottom of a parcel delivery company called Chase Messengers in Encino, California, working as an assistant. He learned the business from the ground up, moved into sales, and eventually bought the entire company. Ben Walton, the kid who always had a plan to make a buck on Walton's Mountain, grew up and built a real business in the real world. You can't write it better than that. And here's the part that'll make you smile. You remember Jim Bob, the youngest Walton son, the dreamer, the kid obsessed with airplanes who eventually became a mechanic when his eyesight wouldn't let him fly? David W. Harper was born October 4, 1961, in Abilene, Texas. His father was actor Paul Harper, who appeared in The Wild Bunch. David's very first professional acting job, his very first, was The Homecoming, A Christmas Story. He walked straight onto Walton's Mountain at 10 years old and stayed there for a decade. After the show ended, David studied business, stepped completely out of the spotlight, and chose a quiet, private life far from Hollywood. And this is where the story gets beautiful. Remember Eric Scott and Chase Messengers? David Harper went to work for him as a delivery driver. Two Walton brothers, reunited not on a soundstage but in a delivery truck. Jim Bob driving routes for Ben's company. No scripts, no cameras, just two guys who grew up together on a fictional mountain, now working side by side in the real world. Now, David W. Harper is 64 years old. He stays mostly out of the public eye, but he still shows up for Walton's cast reunions and memorabilia events. He has a deep passion for American Civil War history and has reportedly been working on an autobiography about his years as Jim Bob. He played a boy who dreamed of flying. He grew into a man who kept his feet on the ground and kept his Walton family close. This one is going to give you chills, I promise you. Cami Cotler, that's Cami Cotler, was 6 years old when she was cast as Elizabeth Walton, the baby of the family, the little girl with the red hair and the big eyes who said goodnight last every single episode. She grew up on that show for 10 years, from a kindergartner to a teenager, right before America's eyes. When the Waltons ended, Cami didn't chase auditions. She went to the University of California, Berkeley, earned a degree in social sciences, and became a teacher. And here's where the story becomes something almost too perfect to be real. The very first school where Cami Cotler chose to teach was in Nelson County, Virginia, the exact county where Earl Hamner Jr. was born and raised. The real Walton's Mountain, the place that inspired every single episode of the show she grew up on. Elizabeth Walton went home to a mountain she'd never actually lived on and spent 5 years teaching children who had never seen the Waltons and had no idea their teacher had once been a television star. Now, Cami Cotler is 60 years old. She returned to California, taught 9th grade at Environmental Charter High School, became co-director of Ocean Charter School, then founded Environmental Charter Middle School as its principal, building an entire institution from the ground up. She married Kim Howard and has 2 children. She even has a YouTube channel where she watches old Waltons episodes and shares behind-the-scenes stories. The baby of the Walton family grew up to shape the lives of real children, not on a set, not in front of cameras, in actual classrooms, in actual communities, for actual decades. That's not a career change. That's a calling. Mary Beth McDonough, that's McDonough, was 10 years old when she became Erin Walton, the middle daughter, the romantic one, the girl who fell in love easily and often and grew from a shy kid into a young woman right there on screen for 9 seasons. She was the first Walton cast member to write a memoir about her experience. The book is called Lessons from the Mountain, What I Learned from Erin Walton, published in 2011. In it, she was honest about the pressures of growing up in Hollywood, about the gap between the perfect family on camera and the complicated feelings behind it. It took courage to write that book, and people responded to it.
Now, Mary Beth McDonough turned 65 just 2 days ago, May 4th, 2026, and she has never stopped working. After the Waltons, she guest starred on ER, The West Wing, Will and Grace, Boston Legal, and had a recurring role on The New Adventures of Old Christine alongside Julia Louis-Dreyfus. She wrote a novel called Christmas on Honeysuckle Lane, which was adapted into a Hallmark Channel movie in 2018 starring Alicia Witt. She also directed the film For the Love of May, starring the legendary Patricia Neal. Today, she is an author, an actress, a filmmaker, a public speaker, and a life coach. Erin Walton, the girl who was always searching for love on Walton's mountain, grew into a woman who teaches others how to find it in themselves.
Every mountain needs a general store, and every general store needs an Ike Godsey. Joe Conley played the kind, patient storekeeper of Walton's Mountain for all 9 seasons. But here's something that'll stop you in your tracks. When he got the call to audition for the Waltons, Joe was running 3 successful real estate offices in Los Angeles. He had nearly given up on acting entirely. He almost said no. He almost turned down the role that would define his entire life. Think about that. The man who became one of the most beloved characters in 70s television almost never showed up for the audition. For 10 years, Ike Godsey welcomed the Walton family and millions of viewers into his little store. He once said, "To millions of people, I am Ike Godsey. People walk up and just call me Ike and carry on a conversation like we are old friends." In 2000, he appeared in the Tom Hanks film Castaway. In 2009, he published his autobiography, Ike Godsey of Walton's Mountain, his final chapter. Joe Conley was born March 3, 1928, in Buffalo, New York. He left us on July 7, 2013, at 85. His Walton's daughter, Mary Beth McDonough, wrote, "It is a sad day. Our beloved Ike Godsey passed this morning. The store is closed now, but the light in the window, that never went out." And then there was Corabeth, Ike's wife, the cousin nobody asked for, but everybody loved. The busybody, the snob with a heart she tried very hard to hide. Ronnie Claire Edwards was only supposed to appear for a few episodes in Season 3, 1975. But audiences loved Corabeth so fiercely that the writers made her permanent. She stayed for the rest of the series and every reunion movie. That's the mark of a truly great character, one the writers can't bear to let go of. Before Hollywood, Ronnie Claire had already lived a life wilder than any script. At 15 years old, she left home in Oklahoma City to travel with a carnival, working as the human target for a knife thrower billed as Great Shoshone Mahaffey. That's Shoshone Mahaffey. She stood strapped to a spinning wheel while knives flew past her. She only quit because her ragweed allergies made her sneeze at exactly the wrong moments. A carnival performer who became one of television's greatest scene stealers. Earl Hamner Jr., the creator of the Waltons, once compared her to Tallulah Bankhead and Betty Davis, saying she was one of those rare individuals so imbued with the magic of theater that they become theater themselves. Her final chapter. Ronnie Claire Edwards was born February 9, 1933, in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. She left us on June 14, 2016, at 83, peacefully in her sleep in Dallas, Texas. The announcement read, "Our beautiful and extraordinary friend has made her final curtain call." What a curtain call it was. We've walked through the front door. We've sat at the dinner table. We've visited the general store. We've said our goodbyes to those who left us too soon. Now, it's time for number 1. You knew it was him. From the very first second of this video, you knew who was waiting at number 1. Because there is no Waltons without John Boy. He was the narrator, the dreamer, the eldest son with the notebook and the birthmark on his left cheek, the boy who wanted to be a writer more than he wanted anything else in the world.
Richard Thomas was born June 13, 1951, in Manhattan. His parents, Barbara Fallis and Richard S. Thomas, were dancers with the New York City Ballet. They founded the New York School of Ballet. He didn't grow up on a mountain in Virginia. He grew up in a ballet studio in Manhattan. And yet, somehow, he became the most convincing country boy in television history. At 7 years old, Richard made his Broadway debut in Sunrise at Campobello. That's Camp O Bello, playing the son of Franklin Roosevelt. At 21, he was cast as John Boy Walton, first in the 1971 TV movie The Homecoming, A Christmas Story, then in the series. In 1973, he won the Emmy for Outstanding Lead Actor in a Drama Series. He appeared in 122 episodes before leaving after season 5 to pursue other roles, a decision that took real courage for a young actor, walking away from the #1 show in America. But John Boy never really left him. Richard returned for season 6 and came back for all 3 reunion movies in the 90s. And here's what separates Richard Thomas from nearly every other actor on this list. He never stopped stretching. He played Bill Denbrough, the stuttering leader of the Losers Club, in Stephen King's It in 1990. He played Special Agent Frank Gard on the FX spy thriller The Americans from 2013 to 2016. He was nominated for a Tony Award in 2017 for The Little Foxes on Broadway. He appeared in Netflix's Ozark in 2022, and from 2022 to 2024, he toured nationally as Atticus Finch in To Kill a Mockingbird. From John Boy Walton to Atticus Finch, think about that arc. The boy who dreamed of writing stories on a Virginia mountain grew up to portray the man who stood for justice in an Alabama courtroom. Both characters believed in the same thing, that words have the power to change the world. Now, Richard Thomas is 74 years old. In 2025, he stepped into yet another American legend, starring as Mark Twain in a national touring revival of Hal Holbrook's iconic one-man show, Mark Twain Tonight. Let me say that again. The man who has been acting professionally for 67 years, since he was 7, is still touring the country, alone on a stage, carrying an entire show on his shoulders. He has narrated over 340 audiobooks for Audible. He lives in New York with his wife Georgiana Bischoff, that's Georgiana Bischoff, an art dealer from Santa Fe, whom he married in 1994. He is the father of 5 children and the adoptive father of 2 more. There's something you should know about Richard Thomas that almost nobody talks about. He has lived with 50% hearing loss due to a condition called otosclerosis. Otosclerosis, a bone disorder in the middle ear. He wears 2 tiny hearing aids. The man who narrated America's Favorite Family for a decade, the man who has narrated over 340 books, hears the world at half volume, and he has never let it stop him. Not once. Good night, John Boy. Good night, Richard. And thank you. Before we go, we need to stop. We need to be still for a moment. We honored Ralph Waite, Ellen Corby, Joe Conley, and Ronnie Claire Edwards in our countdown, because their place in this family was earned, and their stories deserved to be told in full. But there is one more member of this family we haven't yet mentioned. Someone who never got the chance to see the Waltons reach its final season. Someone whose absence left a hole that was never filled. Will Geer was Grandpa Zeb, the white-haired, overall-wearing patriarch who made you believe that wisdom and mischief could live in the same man. What most viewers never knew was that Will Geer held a master's degree in botany from the University of Chicago. He loved plants so deeply that he built an outdoor theater in Topanga Canyon, California, called the Theatricum Botanicum. Theatricum Botanicum, a place where Shakespeare and gardens grew side by side. It opened in 1951. It is still running today, led by his daughter, Ellen Geer. He won the Emmy for Outstanding Supporting Actor in a Drama Series in 1975 for The Waltons. He also starred alongside Robert Redford in Jeremiah Johnson in 1972. His final chapter. Will Geer was born March 9, 1902, in Frankfort, Indiana. He left us on April 22, 1978, at 76. He had just finished filming the final episode of Season 6. As he lay in his final hours, his family gathered around him, not in silence, but in song. They sang folk songs that he and his dear friend Woody Guthrie had written together, and they recited the poetry of Robert Frost. His ashes rest in the Shakespeare garden of his Theatricum Botanicum, among the trees, exactly where he belonged. His character's passing was written into the Waltons in the Season 7 premiere, titled The Empty Nest. The role was never recast. No one could have filled that chair. 5 members of the Waltons mountain family have left us. Ralph Waite, Will Geer, Ellen Corby, Joe Conley, and Ronnie Claire Edwards. But not one of them has been forgotten, not for a single day. Time moves so incredibly fast. One moment you're watching John Boy sharpen his pencil by lamplight, and the next you're realizing that was over 50 years ago. But these memories, they don't fade. They stay warm, they stay close, like a voice you haven't heard in years that still sounds exactly the way you remember. Which of these transformations surprised you the most today? Was it Cammy Cotler teaching children on the real Waltons mountain? Was it David and Eric, 2 Walton brothers working together in a delivery truck decades later? Was it Richard Thomas, at 74, still carrying a show alone on a stage? And here's my last question for you tonight. If you could go back, just for one evening, to sit on that old sofa next to the people you loved, with the TV on and the Waltons playing, and nowhere else in the world you needed to be, what would you give to do it? Tell me your story in the comments. I read every single one of them. Thank you for watching, and good night.